we've got Top Gear. Amazing, because the BBC generally tend to use in-house software for everything, and they do for all their main blogs, but these guys managed to get themselves a WordPress blog. They're the only ones that I know of on the BBC that use a WordPress, but, have I got it on here? Yeah, BBC America use WordPress for all their properties, and they have a lot of properties, and they use WordPress for all that, so that's good. Rolling Stones I talked about before, this relaunch for the 50th anniversary, absolutely huge. A couple of mates of mine helped build that site, really, really good. So there's just loads of big people using it. I'm sure there's many, many more. And it's not just the ordinary sites as well. So some of these sites are the standard websites, even if they're well designed, they're very sophisticated. They certainly have huge amounts of visitors, huge amounts of content on some of them, especially the newspaper ones. But also I wanted to talk about the fact that WordPress goes beyond websites. So one of the things that can take WordPress beyond just an ordinary website is a thing called BuddyPress, social networking and plugin. Literally, WordPress is famous for its 5-minute install. So 5 minutes after you've installed WordPress, you can spend another 2 minutes installing BuddyPress, and you've got yourself a social network with all the kinds of things that you expect from a social network. Why would you want to have your own social network when there's the Facebooks and all the rest of it out there? One of the things is that you can have a private one, and one in particular that really drove it home to me is one called downsyndrome.com that has a Facebook-like experience for sufferers of Down syndrome, parents and carers, but which is completely private. It's not something those people could do on Facebook. It really wouldn't work. But they have that full experience in a private, safe environment. And there are loads of other examples of that. But also BuddyPress is used for some quite commercial things as well. Gigaon, that I talked about before, is a subscription network, technology news network, discussion forums and things like that, all built on WordPress and BuddyPress. That makes a fortune for the owners of that. E-commerce, WordPress is really, really good for e-commerce. Didn't used to be, I have to admit, but it's got a lot better, and in particular, WooCommerce from WooThemes, I've talked about before. They do really, really well with their WooCommerce plugin. I don't know why I chose this site. It's one that they've showcased on their site. It's in South African health food chain that's just absolutely huge in South Africa, but they run all their site and their e-shop on WordPress and WooCommerce. Again, just some incredible things. Here's a really, really interesting one. There's a TV show in the States from AMC, I'm afraid I've not heard of them, called The Walking Dead. Apparently it's very successful. They're about to return for the 4th season. It's all about zombies and survivors and really interesting stuff. But one of the things that they have is an interactive story sync that works on your iPad initially, but now works, as they say, now available on Android and iPhone. And it's an interactive app that works along with the program as you're watching it. I'm actually going to switch over to the site so I can show you what type of things, if I can get this to look right. Just move through to here. So this is one from the first episode of the 3rd season. And it has, well, 36 items of synced content. And it does things like they run polls while you're watching the program. They talk about things, so spoilers, I'm sorry, if you've not seen this yet. Apparently Laurie's pregnant. Just loads of things. Adverts, of course, because they're going to make money from this. But background information about the graphic design. The series is based on a comic book series, so they give you this stuff as they're going through actually broadcasting the site. Loads of stuff, really, really interesting. And I believe that they're probably taking some of this feedback and feeding it back into the writers of the stories. Just incredible stuff. And that's actually all run on WordPress. It's just a WordPress site. If I let me just quickly refresh this. If I refresh this, you might just see a counter, next update in. That's gone because it's not being broadcast now, but that was live when the show was being broadcast. So all this stuff didn't suddenly appear. It came as the story unfolded on your screen. You got asked questions about what's happening on the screen. Really, really clever use, very interactive, worked really well, been very, very popular. Let me switch back to there, go back to full screen here. And it's so popular that, if I can get focus again, it's been nominated for an Emmy. So this is an app-based, or a website that's based on an app, or been turned into an app that's actually been nominated for an Emmy in the Outstanding Interactive Program category, you know, the popular one. And it's up against things like Game of Thrones and a few other things, but it's a WordPress site that's been nominated for an Emmy. I think that's pretty impressive. Here's one that I'm involved with. I built this. It's called I'm a Scientist. I'll say I built this in conjunction with my client, who are the clever people. I'm a Scientist, Get Me Out of Here. It's a science engagement event that runs as part of science lessons in school. So it runs for 2 weeks at a time, and you get a bunch of scientists, as you can see at the top there, sign up, they create themselves profiles. The kids in their science lessons get to sign up on the site, ask them questions about what they do, what science is like, various different things. You can see some of the questions that they get asked, and it's some of it's sciencey, some of it's not, some of it's silly, but it's really, really good. And then they also get to interact with these scientists in real time, doing real-time chat, MSN-style real-time chat, which is incredibly, incredibly popular. After the first week of this back and forth, they then get to start voting on these scientists, and one per day gets kicked out until they're left with just the winner, who wins £500 to promote science in any way that they see fit. The feedback from this is actually sponsored by, or sponsored in the main by Wellcome Trust. The feedback from this for kids who have changed their attitudes about science and scientists, who some of them actually say, I'm really interested in a science career now. Finding out that scientists aren't scary-haired men in white coats. It's just incredible. The teachers and also the scientists get good stuff out of this, because one of the things that we're looking at doing is analysing the scientists' answers from the beginning of the event to the end of the event to see if they get better at portraying science to lay people. But it's all based on WordPress, and it's an incredible thing. It's been running for quite a few years now. One of the interesting statistics from the first big one we ran, which was 20 zones, 5 scientists in each zone, 20 to 40 schools in each zone, so huge amounts. In the 2 weeks that the event ran, we generated 250,000 pages of content in 2 weeks. It's incredible, and it's all still there as well. If you go look at that site and start reading those questions, you're going to be there for hours. It's amazing the stuff that goes on that site. Here's another one. Why MVP? MVP stands for Moderate to Vigorous Physical Activity, apparently. It's YMCA in New York. I built this gamified youth health program all around WordPress. They use booths, as you can see here. The kids have NFC, I think, or maybe it's RFID membership cards. They log into these things when they come to the gym or come to their activity to come play sports. It's gamified, so they get rewards and badges as they do more and more things. They're encouraged to share it and so on. It's still running as a beta at the moment, but it's all built on WordPress. Again, absolutely incredible for not just a website. Really, really interactive, really, really good. Interesting stuff, and loads of other stuff as well. WordPress file system. Somebody created a file system based on a WordPress site. So for those who are very geeky, it uses Fuse, which is an interface between your file system, between your OS and something external, and basically exposes the contents of a WordPress site into your file system. Why? I have no idea, but it's possible to do it with WordPress. Read-only at the moment, apparently he's going to try and make it read-write, so you could create a file, drop it into a certain directory, and it would become a post on your site. Okay, weird. Interactive game. This one, Bendy Words, and I can supply these slides and these links afterwards, is one that was done as a bit of fun using WordPress as then new custom post types to create an interactive game, a bit like Snake but with letters, and one that actually stores the game moves so that games can be replayed and things like that. And I'm just thinking, oh, a few more steps and you could turn that into a chess engine. But it's all based on WordPress. There is another game-related thing going on in WordPress, but I can't find any concrete details. But the people who wrote the first that I'm aware of, WP Commerce, the first e-commerce plugin for WordPress, company in New Zealand, apparently they are building a gaming engine, or have built a game engine based on WordPress. There's a Flash front end, but all the content, all the maps and all the stuff is all done in WordPress, and I can't find any technical details or any examples of it, but it's something that's being done. Anthologize is an add-on to WordPress that turns your WordPress site into a book publishing system. You create posts, you create various different things, and at the end of it, it can spit out the whole of the contents of your site as a PDF, organized chapters and all the rest of it. WP Manage, anybody use WP Manage? It's a good man. It's a WordPress site management app. So if you've got more than one or two WordPress sites to manage, you don't have to log into each one. You log into WP Manage, you get a control panel, you can control all your WordPress apps, update the plugins, various different things, add users, all kinds of stuff. It's a WordPress app itself. It actually runs on WordPress, which is quite meta. But really, really interesting stuff. So, very, very quickly, I'll run through, hopefully, some interesting things about WordPress. Demonstrating that WordPress is much more than a blogging system, even more than a CMS system now. People are writing apps on top of it. And hopefully illustrate that it really has grown up from what it started with. And that's me, and I'm ready to take any questions. If you've got any questions. Anybody got any questions? No. Okay, yeah.
So is there any reason that you didn't go and work for Automatic, or one of the big few?
I kind of dropped out of full-time, well not full-time, but dropped out of working with WordPress just before it got big. For my own real-world reasons. Tail end of 2005 was pretty much when I stopped working with that, which was actually just when Automatic started, but before it got big, before he got his $1 million of investment. So yeah, it was just coincidence, and then it took me quite a while longer before I realised that it had grown as big as it had, and that actually I should be doing something with it, and I quit my day job and started working in WordPress, which was just over 4.5 years ago. Anybody else? Questions? If you could, yeah, if you're on PHP and Apache or Nginx or Raspberry Pi, yeah, absolutely, yeah. In fact, isn't that something that's, oh, there's certainly a web environment just been released for Raspberry Pi. Really. Did somebody mention it earlier today? So yeah, you can throw. Okay, yeah. So absolutely, you can run it on whatever you need. Smartwatch, yeah. Anybody else? No? Okay, then I'm done.